When you learn history, do you think it could be turned into a musical with rap and R&B? You might not think so, but that's exactly what Lin-Manuel Miranda did. Miranda made a musical about Alexander Hamilton's life, with nods to famous rappers and other artists. The popularity of this musical has grown exponentially over the past few years. There are a few reasons teens and most modern people love Hamilton, an American musical. To start, it's the music that draws us in. Secondly, it leaves us asking questions. Furthermore, there is a very inclusive cast. And lastly, it's how the story is portrayed with a modern twist to our history. The score of any musical is a huge part of the show, hence why they are called musicals. Hamilton takes the music in normal musicals and flips it upside down. Instead of the typical melodic or poppy style of music, Miranda uses rap and R&B as most of the music in Hamilton. He did this to put a modern twist on the musical genre we know and love. In the musical numbers, there are many, many cultural references. Some examples are in Alexander Hamilton's first big song, My Shot, where Alexander spells out his name. This is a reference to how Notorious B.I.G. raps in his song Going Back to Cali, when he spells out Notorious. Also in My Shot, Hamilton says, I'm only 19, but my mind is older. The same line is said in the song Shook Ones Part 2 by Mobb Deep. When you watch Hamilton, they answer many of your questions during the 2-hour and 30-minute runtime. For example, did he make some events up, or were they all factual? This makes us want to learn more about Alexander Hamilton and the people in his life. Though, like every piece of literature, Miranda did use some creative liberty. Something that was not true in the musical adaptation was in the duel with John Lawrence and Charles Lee. Of course, Hamilton was Lawrence's second, but Burr was Lee's second. But in reality, Lee's second was a friend of his named Evan Edwards. Miranda did this so he did not have to introduce a new side character, and it also fueled Hamilton and Burr's rivalry. Another discrepancy between the musical and real life is that Lawrence, Lafayette, Mulligan, Burr, and Hamilton all met at the same time. In actuality, Hamilton had already worked with Mulligan before he even met Lafayette, Lawrence, or Burr. Another big part is that Hamilton has a very inclusive cast, with Miranda himself being Latino. He wanted to open up the door for people of color and mixed nationalities. He also wanted them to have a bigger role in the theater world. In the Hamilton cast, the only Caucasian is Jonathan Groff, who plays, you guessed it, King George III. Some of the other nationalities in the Hamilton cast are Asian, Puerto Rican, African American, Nigerian American, and many more. Also, it's not just nationality that Miranda includes, it's also gender equality. For example, a very important component of the story is the bullet, and she's played by a female actress. Another good example is Angelica Schuyler. She is also an important component of the story. Neither of these roles are portrayed as weak women. They are portrayed as strong individuals and are integral to the story. Most of our early history centers around white men. Yet, in the Declaration of Independence, it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Though, sadly, a multitude of the Founding Fathers owned, sold, or traded slaves. But in Hamilton, those same people are played by African Americans. With Hamilton, we are telling our history in a new light. We are finally not making it all about white men. We are making it about everyone. Miranda made it so that anyone of any gender or any race could be a part of the theater world. Be part of the theater world in American history. To wrap everything up, Hamilton is a stunning piece of theater, musical talent, and literature. We love this musical because of its inclusiveness, music, storytelling, and educative abilities. This musical is something you could watch over and over again and never get tired of. I hope that you like Hamilton, an American musical, as much as I and so many other people do.